What's up, everybody? This is your girl Erica from the Classy Climb blog, coming to you guys today talking about how to make six figures at almost any age. I know. So you're going to come on there and say, my aunt Bessie, who has diabetes and is 96 years old, she can't make six figures. Yes, you're right. Aunt Betsy cannot make six figures at 99 years old and no vision. You're right. I apologize. So I just always want to start this on a positive note. But yeah, this video today is about how to make six figures at any age. We're going to use some examples from another blog. It's Financial Samurai. I love using his stuff. He loves graphs and numbers. And guess what? Women lie, men lie, but numbers, guess what, baby? Numbers don't lie. Okay, so as a quote from Jay-Z starting us off tonight, let's be really honest. What's the number one way to make six figures a year? Anybody give me your thoughts on that? But number one is believing you can. I met countless people who made 50 and 70, and they're just like, I just can never get there. I don't know what I need to do to get there. And they would always they would just get angry, right? If you start talking to them about it. And I really want you to break that down. 100,000 a year is 8,000 a month, right? That's easy for me to say. 8,000 a month, $2,000 a week. And if you only work 40 hours a week, let's just say it's just a 40-hour week job, that's $50 an hour. Now, many people are already like clicked off, like, Erica, I don't hear this crap. But the truth is, $50 an hour is not this crazy thing. You have plumbers who make more than that. You have electricians who make more than that. You have AC repair folks, especially in Texas, making $80 just to be out there on call. Like, they're not even fixing anything yet. It's $80. Trust me. In Texas, it's $80. Okay. A lot of people sometimes get so upset about that because they can't figure out, well, what kind of job pays somebody $50 an hour? Well, first you start off by going to Indeed.com. You research things that are within your skill base and absolutely outside your skill base. I've had many friends go, oh, girl, I hate sales. I hate sales. Then all of a sudden finally go, you know what? I'm going to go grab a sales job. And those people, all of a sudden, if they follow the systems, they follow the patterns, they start working their way up. My friend, he finally sold like 4 houses in 1 month. Now, he had a slow year, but once he got into the system and the rhythm of things, you know, the average agent sells 3 or 4 homes a year. Average. He's already done that in a month. So what does that tell you? That means if you follow a system, you follow a pattern, the opportunity is there. So first is belief. 2 is your network. I know people hate this, but a lot of times it is who you know. Who do you know? Can you get out a piece of paper and write down 150 names of who you know and go, who in that sphere? Now, I hate to say this, but take your family off there. Try 150 just outside your family. You know, it's easier sometimes when you're right out of college or you're right into the job market. You could do this. But 150 people you know. And once you write that down, what kind of jobs do they have? What kind of lifestyle do they have? What about that is appealing to you? And I really, truly believe in America, it's exposure, right? If you talk to a lot of kids from inner cities, the thought of working on a farm, the thought of being out in rural areas, driving trucks or doing things that just aren't the norm for that inner city life, that blows their mind, right? Because they haven't been exposed to it. And I tell you, last time when military kid, we lived in Alaska, we lived in Tennessee, my brother got to live in Germany. The more you move, I truly believe it exposes you to new people, different different types of jobs, all through conversation, right? Sometimes I'll find somebody and their job within a company is just to make phone calls. And they get paid really high to do that, but customer service is a big deal. So number 3 on this list is recruiters, right? So number 1 was believing you can actually do that, because you will never get past your belief system. If you believe all women are terrible and hood rats, that's all you'll keep meeting is hood rats, right? If you're a woman, you believe all men are bad, that's all you'll keep meeting, is because that's your belief system. You're attracting that negativity, okay? So you have to start believing there are jobs out there that pay 100,000 a year. What do I have to do to get into them, right? Where do I have to apply? Number 2 is your network. Who do you know? Number 3, recruiter. Number 4, skill up, baby. It's time for some skills. A lot of times I meet people that come from New York and they move down south and they say, y'all not paying nothing. Y'all not paying no good money down here. And I go, well, what kind of skills do you have? I used to be a receptionist making $25 an hour in New York. A receptionist? Like, yeah, there's high paid receptionists, but damn, this ain't New York, right? Or I used to work the front door. Or I used to be a hostess, or I used to be this. And you have to keep reminding them, what does your skill truly pay elsewhere? Did you do a graph? Did you do a chart to see how much your type of job gets paid out in other states? A lot of times they didn't. They just said, I'm moving to Texas, I'm moving to Florida, everything will be great. Instead of probably spending about 3 months just straight applying to every single job there is. Prime example, my friend wanted to work at Sprint. And I was going to go work with her at one time. And it was paying $18 an hour. And she was like, that's a ton of money. And then we talked to another friend who gets paid $26 an hour. And he's like, that's money. That ain't no money. Because the $26 hour guy was making about $50K a year, and us would have been making $18 an hour. He realized, well, you're getting paid less than this. And she said, yeah, but it has sales in it. So I am always a big pusher of sales jobs. Sales jobs change your numbers. If you're in Texas right now and you sell cars in Houston and you don't make 100,000 this year, it's hard for me to even look at you. I'm like, you in the middle of a place that lost 400,000 cars and you couldn't get 20 customers, 30, 40, 50. Like, at some point I'm going to look at you like, that doesn't make sense. That's you, not the environment. That makes sense. Okay. True. Rose House Mails on train. Yeah. Thanks. Rose says, on the train, Erica, bring it on, drops of science. Good evening, said general knowledge. Tim Pfizer, true. Rosie, calm down there, also says stories is mindset. Yeah, 9 times out of 10, if I talk to somebody, it is who they know and what they thought, right? Because you can know people, but if your friends all think you're just a hot drunk and you just party all the time and you're not serious about work, they're not referring you to anybody. They're just not. They're not going to be like, yeah, girl, I'll refer you to my job. No, that's not happening. It's just not. So I want to get on to the screen. So I'm going to share my screen here because people don't believe me. Okay. Don't believe me. Let me show you the graphs. Let me see here and get over. Let's see what we got here. If I can do it, hold on. Let's see if we can do it. Okay. Maybe not. Let's see if I close out some of these other windows, it'll let me do it. Here's to hoping. Here's to hoping. Screen share, try one more time. This is so crazy. Hold on a second, you guys. Sorry. My computer decides to cut up today. But essentially, we're going to get over there to it if we can. Nope. That is not what we want. That's so crazy. Anyway, let's see if I can get over to it one more time. It's the Financial Samurai, and it might let us share it, might not. There we go. All right. So sorry about that, you guys. Sorry about the dead air. Please let me know if you can see the screen because the computer is tripping. Please let me know if you can see the screen. I hate showing you something and you can't see it. Okay, so here we are. It is the Financial Samurai. And basically, it's going to be how to make 6 figures at almost any age. And the reason I'm showing you this is because exactly, Rose, what you said. The first step is believing you can get the money. It's the right mindset. You know, I believe 200. The guy starts it off by, I believe 200,000 is the income level that brings maximum happiness. That's what he believes. Now, they've done studies that showed $70,000 was, people made $70,000. They were, oh my God, I'm so happy. And you don't get much happier after that. But here's what I really believe happens. The average American makes $35,000. So if you told them $70,000, they just double their income. They think they are winning. Okay, winning. So his number is 200,000. I'm somewhere in the middle on that. If you're a husband and wife team and y'all make 150 together, that's you're partying, right? But also, I think the number 100,000 is a sweet spot because it does afford possibly a wife to go home. Right? Or if you're a single woman by yourself at 100,000, let's say you're like, girl, I don't want to work this horrible job forever. I think 100,000 a year gives you enough money if you're a smart lady about it to buy a couple of rental properties for a couple of years, so that when you want to go home or you meet Mr. Right and you want to sit down and don't want to have him to struggle to death, there you go. All right. So his list is some of the same: desire, effort, knowledge. I'm still a big believer in it's who you know. Optimism personally. All right, so go down here. He's talking about high school. He's talking about, making these good grades. And I will tell you this. I know people with crappy grades who are in some awesome jobs. I went to school with them. They're not the brightest bulb in the batch. And guess what? A lot of it was who you know. And they took really great internships. So he starts off with stuff that you've probably heard before, but these are six-figure companies, right? That can pay you six figures about 3 years out of college or out of school, essentially. It's venture capital, right? Sequoia, Drafter, all these companies. I want you guys to go here and read this article for yourself too. But investment banking. Investment banking is what, essentially? It's you literally being a salesperson. You are calling around higher income people. I apologize, getting water. You're calling around higher income people and you're getting them to invest their money. And also on the other flip side of investment banking, you can be a mortgage lender or someone to tell them about their portfolio. Hey, this is what we're seeing. You're bringing this much income into the account. Do you need help? Investment banking has many turns inside of it. So strategic consulting. As you see the first word there, Bain Capital. I know somebody who actually just went to go work for Bain Capital. And people sometimes think, oh no, Mitt Romney, Bain Capital buys up broken companies. Well, 9 times out of 10, people start out with the consulting first. They see if there's a way to save the business, and they pay these consulting firms big money. Okay, you see Arthur D. Little, Booz Hamilton. These are ones that you can work at that have like hundreds of staff members, right? We're not talking about the independent consultant on YouTube. We're talking about hundreds of employees. They're going into multiple different companies all year long, trying to help them find and pinpoint what's wrong. What's the bottleneck in the company? What's going on? And these jobs pay well. Okay, tech, software, Apple, Oracle, Salesforce. I used to know a girl who worked at Salesforce. Lots of phone calls. Microsoft, HP. All right, so then you're going to go to the internet. And I'm glad you put this on the list because a lot of people are like, where is the internet? Right? So you got Google, Facebook, eBay, PayPal, Airbnb, Dropbox, Quora, and Uber. Now, can you make 100,000 driving Uber? That's going to be really tough. You'd have to be like in New York or Las Vegas or LA. You'd have to drive a black car, a black town car, or like an SUV, something that's like going to get you those numbers, like big numbers, like a van, something to that nature. But Airbnb, oh yes, I've seen people. I was going to buy for a week an Airbnb in Miami for the Black Tech Week concert. I don't know if it's still on or not. Depends on how Miami looks in a week or two. And I was going to spend $100 a night on the place, like $110 a night. And everybody's like, man, that's a steal. Why? Because when I looked around in Miami, everything else was charging $200, $300 a night. And we're down there near the strip. Now, the Airbnb, think about that. That guy's charging $120 a night. And I'm going to bust out my handy dandy calculator. 120 a night times 7 days. That's $840 a week. Times a month, that's $3,360 this dude is renting a 1-bedroom place out in Airbnb. Now let's do that times a whole year. He's going to make $40,000 off that place. And that's just one place, right? So that's just $40,000 in itself getting in his pocket. Now, who knows? This guy may have a full-time job in Miami. He may be living somewhere completely else because this place rents out. It's pretty bare. So, in some Airbnbs, no one lives there for real. It's just like a stage kind of place. That guy may be making a bunch of money somewhere else doing something else, but the Airbnb is probably going to put $40K in his pocket. Also, I know people, when the storm came to North Carolina, parts of North Carolina, they were renting out whole houses Airbnb for weeks on end because of contractors who were tired of being in hotels. So there's that tangent on that. But next part, IT and consulting. Now, it's going to say it's going to take you longer to break through, but certainly by the time you're 30 out of undergrad, you're going to make the money. Oil, mining, commodities trading. You can look at all those names if you look this up. Computer, movie animation, engineering. Now, I want to add to this. I didn't see this on here, but this might be because the article's a little old, but cybersecurity. I don't know if you guys remember me telling you about this 2 weeks ago, but cybersecurity pays $80,000 right out of certification. Why? Because companies all over the world are saying, please protect us from hackers, protect us from credit card scammers. Shit, when you have rap songs talking about credit card scamming, you know it's an epidemic, okay? Like I saw a video on Scared Straight. It was a 17-year-old kid. He was in jail possibly for the next 35 years for credit card scamming. Now, don't you think he would wish he'd have learned a better way to do this? If this kid is smart enough to break in and get hundreds of thousands of dollars at 17 as a credit card, can't we find a way for this kid to be useful in society instead of just locking him away and throwing away a key? Okay. Healthcare. Okay, of course, engineering's up there. You guys already know that. Electrical, mechanical. You know, mechanical engineer 3 years out of school is only making 85,000. Depends on the area, though. Healthcare specialists, certain nurses. Oh, yes, that's very common. Classical music. So look at this mess, man. I want y'all to see this. San Francisco Symphony medium salary is 160,000 a year because they went on strike because they were underpaid by 5% from their LA and Chicago peers. Is that crazy or what? Right? They're getting paid to play the violin, the cello, the flute, all these things for 160. Police officers and firefighters. I love this part because police and firefighters are a big staple in our family after people get out of the military. It is very common that police officers working a ton of overpay can make 100,000. Now he gives an example of the retired chief police of San Francisco, Heather Fong. She's Asian. She makes $200,000 a year off her pension for almost the rest of her life. But when she was an actual chief, she was making $250,000 a year. Tell me that's not cake. Tell me that's not cake. Okay. This is financialsamurai.com. And I'll type it in there for you guys. Where is this? I would always say use Indeed.com, but also use recruiters. Recruiters will find you places you could go to make that kind of money. That's why I love recruiters. And if you're a person that's in HR, you need to watch out because recruiters are basically coming to replace you. Many companies are like, I don't need an HR person. I just get a recruiter. Okay, so big government. Now, if you're from a military town or you live near Washington, D.C., you know there are millions of people on the dollar, on the, the taxpayer expense of making 100,000 a year. Now, look at this. Over 450,000 federal workers making over 100,000 a year. Prison guards making 157,000 a year with overtime. San Francisco janitors and elevator technicians making over 270,000 a year. If you go to this article, you can actually click on that link and it'll show you it's in San Francisco. But think about it. You cannot have raggedy elevators in any hotel, in any apartment building, in anywhere. I mean, you just can't do that. That's lawsuit city. So if you're an elevator technician, which doesn't sound sexy, doesn't sound exciting, you're going to make that cake. You're just going to. Government contractors. Again, it's the same thing. I worked for a company. I'm not going to say its name, be respectful for her. She made millions of dollars. What did she do? She sold rubberized oil pans. Let me say that again. She sold rubberized oil pans. Why? Because in the Army, you have a bunch of guys, sometimes when they're working on the trucks, they go to drive the truck off, they're not paying attention, the metal oil pan gets ran over and bent out of shape, spills oil everywhere. She came up with a rubberized design from China. But here's her problem. She only paid for a patent for 12 years instead of 100 years. So when her 12 years were up during the Iraq War years, China came in and undersold her like crazy. Her company went from like $20 million to like barely anything. Barely. It was sad. But she had a good run. She had like a 12-year run of making a ton of money off the government. But anyway, so you see these, and many people are saying, oh, Erica, I didn't like any of those titles. Now, listen, again, we could go, and I see your comments. Let me see. It says digital marketing consulting. Yes, that's true. Independent sales reps. Independent sales reps, to me, falls under insurance, car sales. I mean, I know people who are Edward Jones advisors. Sometimes an Edward Jones advisor gets so big, he only want to work with certain clients. So he'll voluntarily give, with some compensation, a set number of his clients to a new upcoming Edward Jones advisor. So that new Edward Jones advisor has clients. How do I know this? I used to intern for Edward Jones. But essentially what it does is it keeps some guys from being too big, too greedy, can't service all their clients, and it keeps the new guy plugged in because now all he has to do is go, I just got to double up like that guy. I just got to talk to more people and make more appointments and do more of this. So other people are going to say, Erica, that's just crazy. But Tim, to your point, here he goes. He talks about writing a blog, right? He talks about, here's another one he talks about, is the Oakland longshoremen. They striked in 2001 and 2015 because they were on average making 120,000 a year, right? And they wanted more, which is kind of crazy, but that's the thing, right? That's the thing. They are living in California. So for them, their number for happiness was 200,000. Could they afford that? Could the economy afford that there? Maybe, maybe. They got some of the more of the money they wanted. And this one comment he has, marrying money works sometimes, but you often have to sleep with a less desirable spouse. That is horrible, but hilarious. So another one here is you can start your own business or work 2 jobs. Now, when I'm talking to people, sometimes people have really awesome jobs and sometimes people have really crappy entry-level jobs. I always say if you can find a side gig that brings you extra 20 to 50,000 dollars a year in, you're winning. But you could also start an online business. So here's what he talks about. In 2009, he started his blog. He wrote a book. As you can see, here's his numbers. You guys, please go to his website so you can see it for yourself, not just me telling you it. Corporate consulting. He consults, bigger level people, freelance writing, ad campaign manager, right? This was before ad campaigns was big. He was an ad campaign manager, right? Then you have financial advice, corporate level speaking. There are people who make $200,000 a year just off speaking tours. And they're not some, I know military guys who come home, someone helps them write a book. They served in 1 or 2 wars and they're going around the country speaking to about men's masculinity, growing stronger, better men in our country. And that's a popular niche. So even here, if you refer to him making, this is pro blogger, but if you see right here, his own product, which is why people are always creating courses and books, he makes about $2,000 a month off that. Sponsored post. He's got affiliate partnerships. You ever see those YouTube channels where the fitness person is wearing different people's clothes? That's what that is, a sponsorship. The average person, if they're sponsoring a supplement, is only going to make $2,000 off that. But as they add more things to their collection, like clothes, they're getting free clothes, free supplements. They're getting paid to go do, different engagements where they'll go to an event like the Arnold or a fitness contest or CrossFit and, show up things. Another big thing is they'll get free stuff come in when their numbers get really high and also be paid. Like the person will say, hey, can you promote my product for 3 or 4 times? 3 or 4 times. And it will truly be, let's say beef jerky or a box of granola. They'll have these things they show and you'll be like, man, they get all this free stuff. Nah, it's a combination of a company paying them money and sending them the free box of stuff. Like, hey, sent you some more stuff. Now, Nike, Adidas, you're not going to get checks, but you're going to get free shoes. You're going to get free stuff. Nelly, when he was singing that song about Air Force Ones, he got lots of shoes from Nike, but never got a check. So it depends on which way you go about this. But his grand monthly total here is $28,000 a month, $300,000 a year. So you got to learn. You got to visualize the money. And I just like how he talks about this. Because sometimes I say, like I said earlier in the beginning of the video, $8,000 a month, $2,000 a week, $50 an hour. He breaks it down, $8,300 a month, $274 a day, which is good. So I just think this is very important for you guys to see that. I really want you to see it. There's so many ways. There's so many ways. And the key here is getting 2 people on the same track. If you're at a house with your wife or your girlfriend and you go, hey, this job I'm at sucks. I'm going to go drive trucks. I'm going to take this 5-week course and go drive trucks. And I got you, girl. I got you, wife. You should want to be with somebody who's down for that, right? Because you're trying to improve yourself and bring your income up. I really feel like the more people I'm running into, they just don't like the jobs they're hearing out there. They just don't, I don't like that. I don't want to do that. But I'd much rather have a guy who's in the military for 4 years, gets out and has a GI Bill, than a guy who's in a job for 10, 12 years and never made any traction. I'd rather be the girl who worked 2 years as a mortgage lender or, mortgage broker, and then I can go on and do something else, than 5 years as a real estate agent that's a bad real estate agent and never kind of gets the hang of it. right? Because when you're talking about people being paid $80,000 to $100,000 a year, it buys options. Now, it's not for you to go get cars, but for you to go put some money to the side. It's for you to go put some money somewhere else. Does that make sense? And I don't know if you guys can see it. I clicked over to the page. It's kind of about him. You can go check him out. You know, he's been listed in a lot of places. But that's just the thing. You know, again, he even says it here. Building wealth through real estate, stocks and bonds, private equity, and online entrepreneurship. What is something you guys can do for yourself? What is something you can do for yourself? 9 times out of 10, if I'm talking to you guys, you have skills. You have so many skills. I get on the phone with people who've had 4 or 5 different careers, and they're only 35. And I go, you know what you need to do now? Pick one and roll with it. Pick one and roll with it for a year or two. Once you buy a piece of real estate or 2 or 3 rentals, you have a different outlook. Even when you make $80,000 a year, and let's say the taxes are eating you up, being able to put away $1,000 a month is a life changer, right? Because the average American, 76% of Americans don't even have $1,000 in their emergency savings. So imagine you telling a kid fresh out of high school, why don't you go drive trucks for a few years? Why don't you go do something else for a few years? It's just changed his trajectory of his life. I mean, a lot of 25-year-olds who no clue what to do, out of college, has this debt, and they're mad. My friend's an Army recruiter, and he's saying every day through his door, he's seeing more and more men who are like 30-something years old, 30 years old, 29. I couldn't find the job of my dreams. I couldn't find the job I want. I'm joining the military. And he goes, hey, don't just join anywhere. Come do some mechanical stuff. Come do some electrical engineering. Come do some actual jobs that's going to get you a job outside the Army if you're here and you hate it. And the other guy's an Air Force recruiter I know. And same thing. He tries to focus all the guys into mechanical or electrical engineering. My cousin went in the Navy, did a mechanical degree, some kind of mechanical degree. He could either been a sea merchant or go do something else. A company offered him a job because he was a veteran and said, we will teach you on the job and start you out at $25 an hour. And we'll go up from there, but you just don't know the job, so we can't pay as much as everybody else. So I think it's very important, if you can, find where you can level up at. If it's a job, it's okay if it's a job. People watch this channel and think I'm telling everybody to quit their jobs and start an online business. No. Go do the easiest low-hanging fruit, which is one, get a higher paying job, right? If that's your thing, you like comfort, you like being where you are, just go get a higher paying job. Go use a recruiter and go, hey, this is what I can do. These are my skill levels. Here's my resume. Make it look shiny, make it look pretty, and go find me something else I can do. And so that's just that's the best thing I can tell anybody, is like, start with the low-hanging fruit first and go from there. Now, I'm thinking of sharing Indeed.com with you guys, but that's not the site I wanted. I wanted to share with you guys a site that was for people who who are looking for $100,000 jobs, $100,000 jobs. Right now, as you know, I've been talking about Houston and the flooding in Florida. What I tell people is, look at some of these claim adjusters. Some of these people are going to make $70,000 to $100,000 a year. And an insurance and claim adjuster, you start off with, depending on your state, let me make sure I put myself correctly, $199 for the test, $279 for the test, maybe $300 for the test, depending on your state. A lot of people need to be approved in the state of Texas. You can do it online, or approved in the state of Florida. But there's a company already out there hiring 1,500 workers for insurance adjusting. You just got to be able to climb a ladder, 1, and 2, be able to hold 40 pounds. The average claims adjuster in the United States makes 50 to 60 a year, but because of these storms, they're going to make 100. Now, are they going to be kind of living out of bag for a minute in Houston? Yeah, but is 100,000 worth it? It just depends. You have to decide where you're at with your family and your spouse and what kind of money you guys need. I hope this was helpful for you guys. I hope this hit some points for you. Definitely let me know some of your ideals on 6-figure jobs that you're interested in, or 6-figure jobs you like, because I'm always interested to hear what are some of the jobs you guys know of that you are interested in. Okay. Shout out Aaron Clary. Aaron Clary is the truth. It's a beast. XM, if that helps you. SM, that site is great. It really is. I liked it because he gave the perspective of someone who, I think the average day American thinks, if I just made 100,000. If I just made 200,000 or 500,000, I'd be rich and I'd never have any problems. And that site, all he shows is examples of people he's worked with, because he's in finance, who make that amount of money and are broke because of choices. So again, it's not the money you make, it's the money you keep. But do I think 100,000 is a sweet spot? Yes, I do. S&M, how about life insurance? Yes, quite easy to do that. You just have to have a you have to have a good client base. Now, why do I say good client base? You're gonna do a lot of cold marketing. Now, how do I know there's $100,000 insurance agents in Texas? Because in Texas, which some people are finding out in Mad Houston, you have to have renter's insurance. Now, they didn't always make it have flood insurance inside your renter's insurance package, but the option was there for you to check. So if you're paying $12, $14 a month, or $100, $120 on the dot, renter's insurance, then you can get your keys to your apartment. So what happened? A lot of people, the first agent they called, if they said 120 and the person had their debit card on the phone, they swiped, they did. So it's not uncommon for a particular insurance agent to get 100 apartment complex calls, right? You know, but you might need 1,000. You know, $120, might need 1,000 of those calls. Depending on your percentage they break you off from the insurance company, you might need 2,000 of those calls. So it just depends. Life insurance is a good spot to be in, though. So I'm not going to drag this one out too long. I just had to share that. I think I'll do a video later tonight. I'm going to make a call, but it's going to be talking about where to put your money. How do you find businesses to invest in? How do you find these turnkey companies to invest in? How do you find business owners that are ready to sell? Happens all the time. So it's another way to get your foot in the door, another way to have your already growing active business. But I'll get into the pros and cons of that later. So thank you guys for showing out tonight. I hope the video was useful. Financial Samurai is the website. Again, you know, if you guys want to talk to me, you can always push the button in chat. One thing I don't like is emails telling me that, hey, can I get free call? No, not free call. Time's very valuable. As you can see, I didn't do a video almost a whole week because I've been growing my business. Because guess what's happening? Houston's in trouble. As all these people leave out of Houston, it opens a vacuum for us in Austin. So I'll be back officially in Austin later this weekend. You might see me hanging out on a Sunday fun day. But other than that, thank you guys for visiting tonight. You guys are the best. Later.